Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to week 5 of the PSRL Purple Sector Racing League Division 1, Formula 1 today. I am happy to say that I am back in my normal setup here. So allow me to adjust my mic audio a little bit. Let's see. Listening in on myself here a little bit. Sounding a little better, but please chat, please feel free to tell me that I sound a little funky or otherwise, and I'll do my best to adjust the audio. Money of the Merchant, let's go, PSF1, yes. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. We have almost a full grid. I think we have a full grid today. We've been having very full grids the last few races, but it's been a minute since we've had a completely full grid, so I am quite excited to see how a completely full 20-man grid I think is going to be changing it up for us. But with that said, let us go into my favorite part outside of the racing, the season calendar here. I think we did a fantastic job here in season 14. It's been a fantastic set of races so far. I should be getting joined, I believe, by Money the Merchant, our director of motorsports here sometime soon. He will be the second commentator in the booth with me here today. But as I've previously mentioned, we are in Canada. This Canada week is breaking up a 2-week break, essentially. We just got off of Great Britain, which was a very fun race, little break. And then now hitting Canada. We're going to be taking another break next week, and then we'll be back for a double week in Monza in Mexico. I hope you guys are ready for those 2 races. Very fun tracks, very different tracks, but similar in some senses as well. So I am quite excited, to say the least. Let's see. All right, and our director of motorsport here just confirmed as well. We do have a full grid. I hope you guys are ready for that one. Canada is an absolutely fantastic track as well, so I'm pretty excited here to see what a full 20-man grid is going to do in Canada. I think it's going to be a little chaotic, maybe, but obviously I only wish the best for the races. But if they touch wheels just a little bit, the fans I know love it. I sure love it at least as well. But with that said, let's move on, ladies and gentlemen, to our track stats here for today. Welcome to the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, the Canadian GP here. The Canada GP is located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Circuit name, as I just said, is the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, which I believe is based off of a racer, actually. I did not check that. I should have had that pulled up. I didn't think to check. I could have sworn it was named after somebody, but I'll get back to you guys on that. If anybody in the chat knows, please feel free to say something. But the circuit was opened in 1978. The designer was Ile Notre Dame, which is actually a series of public roads that were adopted into racing circuits here. The track length is 4.3 or 4.4, excuse me, we round here, 4.4 kilometers and 2.7 miles long. A full F1 race of 70 laps is a total of 305.3 kilometers. If you can believe that, a lot of racing there. uh, we have 14 corners, 6 left-handers, 8 right-handers, and it's pretty much a flat track. There's a 6-meter elevation change, nothing too crazy, but nonetheless, very, very entertaining. The track design here involves very heavy braking zones, as many of us may be familiar with, along with pretty long straights, and of course the absolutely fantastic double overtake that Albon performed 2 years ago. I believe he was overtaking. I know he overtook Liam Lawson, I'm pretty sure, and I forgot who the second person was, but fantastic double overtake into corners 14 and 15. One of the best overtakes, I think, in the sport, to be quite frank. Very tricky area to do a double overtake in, and nonetheless he did it. The walls on this track, it's not considered, obviously it's not a street circuit, but the walls are pretty punishing here, so drivers are going to want to make sure that they respect the track limits in certain areas of the walls. This track really rewards aggression. I actually really dislike this track personally. It's one of my least favorite tracks. I feel like I'm really weak on it. I'm not a very aggressive driver. I'm very much a long-term or a long-run driver. But then, of course, that means that I lose out on those opportunities. Senna would not be happy with me. But with that said, let's go over our sector views here. As I can see in the chat here, everybody can see the beautiful map here of the Canadian GP. Very interesting circuit layout here. Very simple looking. It looks very, very simplistic, but it's honestly, for the fact that I don't like it, I still think it's a pretty enjoyable track to race in. I just can't push myself to the limit, so it's unenjoyable in that regard. But I think the circuit itself is fun to drive. But enough about that. Uh, let us start off with Sector 1 here. Very, very short appearing sector here, consisting, of course, of turns 1 through 5. Very fast opening. Which immediately shoots into the center corners of T1 and T2 here. Very sharp left-hander into a nice little U-turn, right-hander in turn 2. A lot of room here. We've seen cars go up to 3 wide. I bet you we can even do 4 wide here, honestly. But let's not get anybody in trouble here today or get any damage. 3 wide is the confirmed amount. Of course, then going into a very nice wide right-hander. A lot of lane, as I previously mentioned in this beginning section of the track. A lot of capability of side-by-side action. And then we hit this nice little uphill short straight here. Coming out of turn 2, this is about the biggest elevation change that we'll see. It kind of tapers off throughout the rest of the track. We hit turn 3 and 4. That looks like a chicane, but it's actually hit very aggressively. Once again, this beginning portion of the track is quite wide. You're able to swing very wide left and then really chew through this turn 3, turn 4. But you have to be careful because turn 4 is one of those tight areas I just mentioned. There is a wall right there, and it will nail you if you aren't too careful. Very easy to lose the rear of the car here. This is a downhill bit. I said tapers down throughout the rest of the track. That was a lie. It elevates here right after turn 2, and then it immediately de-elevates coming out of turn 4. We have a nice little simple wide right-hander turn 5, and then we hit sector 2 here. The Montreal S's is the start of our sector 2 here at the beginning of our DRS detection zone 1 as well. It's a very interesting little section here. You kind of shoot a little deep into turn 6. Turn 6 is apex, or not apex. Actually, no, the turn 6 apex is a very strange S. You kind of do a deep left in. I'm trying to describe this. I'm terrible at describing stuff. But it's a very funky little bit of track. Overtaking is possible here. It's very, very cumbersome though, because of how I'm attempting to describe it. I guess it's a little bit cumbersome to overtake here because it can set you up for a bad exit coming out of turn 7 in sector 2 here. We get our first DRS detection zone, as I mentioned. A lot of overtaking opportunity here, obviously, and getting a bad exit coming out of turn 7 by taking an unideal line in turn 6 can really mess up any opportunity to defend or overtake. Quite frankly, even with DRS advantage, of course, if you use your battery, different story maybe. But in a straight drag race, I think it can be a little tricky to overtake here on a bad exit. But coming out of this DRS zone 1 here, we hit turn 8 and turn 9, which I think is actually the second trickiest set of turns in the Canadian GP, obviously excluding the Wall of Champions that I'll be getting to shortly here. And there's a bot in the chat. Sorry, that threw me off. Hitting turn 8, turn 9 is very funky, very easy to get track limits here. In fact, I'm expecting that we are going to be getting a fair amount of track limits and 3-second penalties in a lot of our drivers here today. Obviously, hopefully not. But this section of the track, you try to push it so hard, turn 8, turn 9, and it's very easy to go over it. Very short, very small right-hander in turn 8, very difficult to overtake, and then you immediately hit this very short, very not very wide part of the track in turn 9, which requires a lot of speed. You kind of slingshot out of turn 9, and you eat up most of the track trying to hold on to your momentum. You can hit a wall here. You can hit some grass. Very easy to lose the car during this portion. There's a very dangerous sausage curve, which drivers can use as like a camber curve to help them stay on track. But going over that will bottom you out. It will slingshot you. And of course, that can lead to some unfortunate scenarios with the wall only a few feet away from you. Coming into turn 9, though, we hit our DRS detection zone 2 and the start of sector 3 here. Sector 3 starts into one of the most fun areas to dive somebody, in my opinion. Once again, the Canadian GP across the board is a very wide track, so I do quite enjoy it in that regard. And turn 10 is no exception. You can once again go pretty much 3 wide comfortably, not that any of our drivers should be doing that, into the Le Epingle hairpin. I did not pronounce that right. I don't speak French. I'm just going to be referring to it as the hairpin. And very simple again, quick U-turn hairpin. And there's a wall right there coming out of turn 10. So drivers want to be careful not to utilize too much of the track on exit here, or they can love tap the wall. Drivers want to make sure they don't push other drivers into the wall here. It's going to be very easy to incur penalties for any aggressive driver here in the Canadian GP. So they're going to want to make sure that they stay tight and that they stay aware of their surroundings. Turn 11 is pretty much a nothing burger turn, in my opinion. It's barely a turn at all. But it's a nice little left-hander before we enter our actual DRS zone 2 here, the hitting the casino straight kink here. Nice little long straight here, the casino straight itself. A lot of overtaking, of course. It's a DRS straight, obviously. And it's quite long. So this one, I mean, obviously your exit coming out of turn 10 and 11 matters, but it's a long enough straight where you can maybe kind of make up for any bad exits in attempted overtakes. And then we have the Wall of Champions. Turn 13 and 14 is a very fast chicane with a wall right there on turn 14. There's barely any room coming out of the Wall of Champions, and it's called the Wall of Champions because uh, it's claimed a few drivers here. In 1999, multiple champions crashed into the wall. I believe some of those champions involved like Schumacher. Schumacher's the only one that I actually know. Um, Allow me to double check that real quick, because why is it called the Wall of Champions? Once again, I apologize. I should have had this ready. But yes, Michael Schumacher, Jacques Villeneuve, and Damon Hill all hit the wall here during one race, the 1999 Canadian Grand Prix. And it was then since dubbed the Wall of Champions just because so many world-class drivers hit the wall, trying to maximize the limit. Once again, very, very tricky. You don't want to push it. You need to push it because if you get a bad exit out of turn 14, you can get overtaken going over the start line straight here. But definitely something that these drivers are probably aware of. I know I get very nervous, honestly. I take the Wall of Champions very slowly, turns 13 and 14. Probably another reason. Again, this track rewards aggressiveness, and I'm just not that type of driver, unfortunately. Interestingly enough, though, I do want to point out here that little DRS zone you see coming out of turn 14 is part of DRS zone 2. So drivers, as they come up to the Wall of Champions, close their DRS wing, and as soon as they come out of turn 14, they can activate it again. If they didn't get the pass on the casino straights, they'll be able to get it on the start line straight, and of course, then we restart our track here going into turn 1. Very, very fun. Last year, we obviously saw a huge moment with Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, where Norris tried going for a pass, question mark, and he slammed himself into the wall on the left side here going into turn 1, attempting to overtake Piastri. It was a very strange maneuver from Lando Norris. That there was literally no room. He pretty much just went into the grass and hit the wall, and obviously DNF'd. So interesting scenario. Oscar Piastri thankfully did not retire from that attempted overtake, but it was very reminiscent of Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg in Hungary, I believe, where Lewis Hamilton for some reason shot into the grass obviously lost the car and then took himself out along with Nico Rosberg. It's a very brutal clip. Most racing fans will be familiar with it. If you're not, very famous clip. I recommend you search it up. It's kind of sad actually because as Lewis Hamilton's car is coming to a stop, he already puts his hands on his helmet, in shame. Obviously, it's a little brutal. Many call that one moment in Hungary the moment that kind of broke their friendship. Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton were very close friends prior to that race, and that was kind of the start of their friendship breakdown. So again, very interesting history there. Highly recommend any viewers to check that out. But with that said, that is a quick overview of the GP here. Let's go over track surface and characteristics. Again, it is a public road style circuit here, so kind of rough asphalt. Um, the grip, pretty good, honestly. Due to the fact that it has so many of these fast corners, though, such as turn 13, 14, turn 8, and 9, lower tire wear is a little rough. You can't swing the car as aggressively, so it can get a little difficult to try to maintain high speeds through a lot of these sections. The curbs are aggressive, as I mentioned, especially turn 9 here. You have kind of a sausage curb you can rely on, but again, it is dangerous and it can slingshot you. And of course, this is one of those tracks that can rain. I believe 2 years ago in 2024, as a Haas fan, I'm going to talk about this. We did a fantastic strategy call. Everybody started on intermediates, but we started the Haas, Kevin Magnussen, and Hulkenberg started on wet tires, and they actually shot up through the field. There's so much water on the track, but for whatever reason they didn't pit in time, and they ended up losing actually more positions than they lost a lot of positions. They finished lower than where they started, I believe, because they pitted so late they didn't switch to intermediates in time. But they had a huge advantage, and it was a very depressing moment as a Haas fan. So just wanted to point that out. That was under Steiner though. I will admit, as much as I love Steiner, he was a old timey head. I get head of the team. I'm very happy with our current Haas lead right now. But with that said, we are still waiting for one more driver. We're at 19 out of 22, or actually, excuse me, we're waiting for two or three more drivers here. Quite excited. But let's go through the lineup of drivers that we have today. Hatfield for top 10. Let's go, Hatfield. I believe in you. Hatfield is one of our racers here in the Haas. Don't do what the Haas's did. If it rains, be confident in your strategy. Don't risk it for the biscuit. But I am expecting a safety car, to be quite frank with you guys. But we'll have to see how that goes. With that said, though, as I said, let us go into our teams here. With Oracle Red Bull Racing, we have Mac and Despy, fantastic drivers. They had a great season in season 13. Hoping to see a lot of action from both of these guys today. Both of these drivers have been chasing a podium for quite some time now, and I am always waiting for the day that they get on. Or moving on is VCarb with MSA Samad and JMO here. I believe both drivers are going to be here. Let me double check, please. Quick second, fellas. Yes, we do have both drivers here in the VCarb. Fantastic drivers, both of them. This is one of the strongest constructor teams on the grid. MSA Samad was in competition for the season 13 championship. Unfortunately, did not win, but nonetheless, a driver to keep our eyes on. Moving on into the Haas, MoneyGram Haas F1 team, we have full-time drivers Cecizo and Hatfield. Hatfield is a recent addition here. Cecizo is a veteran of the league here. Hatfield is actually a LMU-focused driver. So F1 cars are not his specialty, but he's done a fantastic job this season in providing the fans a show here. So again, if you guys are interested in joining, actually, let me plug this real quick. If you are interested in joining Purple Sector F1 or PSRL in general, we do have the Discord link in our Twitch bio. We also have a YouTube you should check out if you wanted to look at any previous replays. We had some pretty fantastic races all season here. So honestly, any of the races that you guys watch are going to be quite entertaining. I believe that the honestly best race of the season so far would have to be, let's see, Miami, honestly. Miami had some pretty crazy moments. It was standard Miami, kind of slow in some areas, but when the action got there, it was really entertaining. Great action from a lot of our drivers, and I'm kind of hoping we see the same thing here today. Again, tight circuit. The drivers are aware that any bad moves will result in them being in the wall. But nonetheless, these guys want to win, and I'm excited to see that. Moving on, we have our Scuderia Ferrari HB with full-time drivers Mahmudev and our Season 13 champion Reimer. Very excited to see both of these guys on track. Mahmudev is rejoining us here, and I believe my co-host here just joined us. Money, are you here with me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Looks
Man,
like we do have a full grid tonight. Super excited. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And yeah, please continue.
of course, of course. But yes, full grid. Very excited for that. Moving on, we have the Stake F1 team, Kick Sauber, the Mean Green with Focoena and Wicked Sticks here. This is my team. I'm quite excited to see how these folks do. Focoena, fantastic driver. Wicked Sticks has been doing a great job in the league. He's actually driving in both Division 1 and Division 2, so he is essentially racing a full Canadian GP. We move on to the Williams Racing Team, full-time drivers Prosk and Elliott Carrot G here. Prosk, fantastic driver. Elliott as well. We saw a lot of action from both of these fine folks in the recent races we had in Miami and Silverstone. Moving on, we have the BWT Alpine F1 team with Rebel and Mavic, Aston Martin or Ramco. Let me double check. I believe these guys actually did have a stand in here. Yes, both drivers unfortunately are not making it. We instead are going to be having MTS join us here in the Aston Martin, as well as IUF1 William, who is our current rain master of PSRL. So hopefully it rains for him. Obviously, he's going to be wanting some of that fun, wet action there. But nonetheless, both of these reserve drivers are going to put on quite a show for us. IUF1 William, one of the more aggressive drivers on the grid, definitely goes for fun passes that are very entertaining to watch. Moving on, we have the McLaren Formula F1 team. I said Formula F1. We have No Cap and Mr. Boss here as our full-time drivers. Unfortunately, one of them is not making it. That is, are both of them not in?
Yeah, both of them are going to be missing tonight. We do have Deranged Aura stepping up from his position as McLaren in D2, and we have Gunner stepping in as one of our reserve drivers. Big shout out to him for, waiting until the last moment to find out if he could actually race. And thankfully he jumped in and was able to swap seats a few times as well. So thanks for showing up. And thanks to all our reserve drivers as well.
I agree, and I do apologize. I did miss out. We have FIFA Teddy driving in the Alpine as well. I did forget to mention that when we went over the Alpine team. And last but not least, we have the Mercedes AMG Petronas F1 team. Full-time drivers Rassam and Mini B-Man. Again, fantastic drivers, both of them. We saw some great action with Mini B-Man, and I'm excited to see what both of them lay on track today. But with that said, let's jump over to the actual game cap here. Let me make sure everything sounds good here. We're currently on board with Focoena, one of my drivers here. Quite excited to see what he
Heck
does
yeah.
here today. But we're currently on board with him hitting the DRS, or actually, excuse me, he's on the casino straight right now. We're about to watch him do our hot lap, the first hot lap of today, coming up in the turn at 13. You see him slowing down here. He's taking the wall of champions safely. Nothing wrong with that. And did just disqualify his outlap. Hopefully that doesn't disqualify his fast lap, and that did disqualify his fast lap. Very unfortunate for the kick driver here. Let's jump over to somebody else then.
Looks like Rebel's about to start his fast lap here.
Perfect. Let's jump on board with Rebel then with the Alpine. As he's coming up to the start line, he's about to go 50% S, turn 1 and 2. As you guys can see, as I mentioned, a very wide track here, honestly. As we have one of the Ferraris spin out right in front of Rebel. Thankfully, didn't block him coming out of a very unfortunate moment. Hit turn 3 now. Very aggressive, as I said, very aggressive left-right hander there. Looks like the chicane isn't the chicane. Hitting turn 5 here, coming into the turn 6. The Montreal S's. As you guys can see, it's a little funky. The apex of turn 6 is a little deeper than the apex of turn 7, so you kind of have to cut back. We're currently on the DRS straight 1 here, coming up to turn 8 and 9. Very tight, as you guys can see, a little bit of the sausage curve use there. Very difficult to overtake the track, especially considering that it's right after DRS. So hitting turn 10 here now. The hairpin. Nice little dive here. So a little bit of a lockup there at the earth. And he's now hitting the casino straight, coming up on the turn 12 casino pink here. And the way he goes. Using a lot of battery here on the straight up. Quite a good time for the level. And hitting now, Trent 13-14. Wall of Champions right there, as you can see why it's so tricky there and why it's easy to hit the ball. Crossing the line now, a 109.750, our first provisional pole time of the day, our only time of the day here so far. We're going to have to see how this responds. Money, how are you feeling here for the Canadian GP?
Well, that Ferrari spinning out was Mr. Mahmoud, and he did unfortunately go out on intermediates, so I think he's going to be... Now, I don't know if he knows he's on intermediates because he is continuing his hot lap here. Yeah, I'm a little nervous. What can I say? Reimer goes third fastest. Prosk overtakes just a couple tenths behind Rebel as Samad goes fastest with a 109.601 as Kick Sauber crashes into the wall just after the first corner.
Is that Wicked Sticks here?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Let's see. I'm currently on board with our possible crasher here, unfortunately, and it looks like, yes, looks like Wicked Sticks did hit the wall coming out of the pits, possibly. Is missing most of his left wing and missing the right end plate of his right wing. Very unfortunate moment there. Very pretty helmet, though. I'm not going to lie. Very, very pretty helmet there from Wicked Sticks. He's looking good, if anything. Let's jump on board here with Elliott, our other Williams driver, just coming out of turn 7 here. Now, Elliott did just set a purple sector 1 here. He may be on pace possibly for a pole position here, provisional pole position, coming out of turn 9. He did do some backwardness there. How do you feel about the Canadian
The
GP?
other driver jumping out of the way there as Elliott comes back to the hairpin. A lot of drivers struggle with this exit here. It looks like he did have a little bit of wheel spin, had to do a little bit of a correction. We're going to see what his time is as he goes down this back straight here. Coming up into the chicane, like Hero had mentioned, Wall of Champions here. Very, very tough chicane. We did see a crash earlier in Division 2 in that spot, as Elliott does go 7th fastest overall, right behind Reimer. And while we were talking, FIFA Teddy went 4th fastest and William 3rd fastest, 109.3 or 109.93.
This grid's looking very competitive here at the moment. Our top, I'd say, 9 drivers here, all in a very competitive time range. Anything can really happen. Currently on board with Besky, just really maximizing the exit here of turn 10. And I just realized that they unfortunately invalidated their last driver. Unfortunately, currently on board now with Mini Man and Mercedes. But as we're on board with Mercedes driver, how do you feel about the Canadian GP? One of your personal favorites, would you say?
I definitely really like the track. It's pretty technical in that second sector, heading into sector 3. A lot of different angles here, and especially the chicane heading to the start-finish line. Very interesting track. I personally kind of struggle with it, but at the same point in time, if I don't run into any issues, that's an opportunity for some positions as well.
While we were on board here with Mini D-Man, he lost the rear going into turn 3. Very, very dangerous. Almost losing the car there, and he does cut turn 9, unfortunately validating his lap. Mini D-Man here seems to be using no assists, no throttle control assist, so big ups to Mini D-Man in that regard. It is quite tricky to manage these cars without any kind of digital assistance here, but it's always fantastic to see anybody who is the game of the beast. On board now with MTS, who just started his lap here, actually invalidated already. Most likely invalidated before the start of the stop line. Very unfortunate moment here. Still quite a fair bit of battery though. Curious if he decides to stay out here. While we're waiting here for some of our drivers to do another lap, what do you think will be our podium finishes for today?
My goodness, it's really tough seeing William come back as one of our reserve drivers. It's definitely going to be a contender for the podium. A lot of our drivers that are really fighting for podiums quite regularly have set quite, I don't know another way to say it, but quite slow laps for what I believe their pace actually is. Of course, it's just their first lap out here in qualifying. They'll probably head out at least 1 or 2 more times. But yeah, going to be really interesting here to see who finishes up top. If I had to give three off the top of my head, I'd have to say Reimer, Rebel, and Prosk, honestly.
Prosk, honestly, a good call with Prosk. Currently on board with Prosk, I believe. He just had a purple sector one, hitting the DRS straight zone number one, hitting turn 8 and 9 now. I'm quite excited to see what Prosk is going to put down on track. He's been a great driver in LMU. I think, I'll be honest with you, I think Prosk has only gotten better with the help of LMU racecraft as well. So it's interesting to see how other motorsport categories kind of assist our drivers in F1 as well. He's currently now hitting Casino Straight. Let's see, who do I think the top three finishers here for today? Now MTS FGRG, who is our Aston Martin reserve driver, did win Division 2, so I'm inclined to believe that a winner will at least finish on the podium here. Prost comes across the line into second
Very
place.
nice lap.
6:43, yes, very, I agree.
Just 400ths behind MSA Samad.
MSA Samad is starting her outlap now as well. But top three for me, I think MSA Samad, Frost, and Rebel. I think the top three right now actually on the quali lap are going to be our winners here. Fortunately, MSA Samad actually just invalidated their lap. Hopefully that doesn't affect their hot lap. The outlap rules are a little tricky. Big lockup there for MSA Samad going to turn 10 as well. I don't know, how you feel William? I'm not, man. I'm starting to feel a little doubtful about my top three here. MSA Samad, though, I think is feeling quite confident on this track here. Frost obviously giving a little bit of a run for his money. At the moment, there are still maybe 7 or 6 minutes left. 7 minutes, yeah, 7 minutes, 48 seconds left as Samad is now starting his hot lap here going into turn 2. Very much like the camera angles right now, so it's been pretty nice here. A lot of low camera shots. Very interesting. Oh, as MSC Samad touches the wall coming out of turn 5 there. We heard the grays on the stream here. Doesn't seem to have invalidated his lap. Sets the purple sector 1 and enters our DRS zone 1 here. MSC Samad clearly trying to maximize track. Still on board as turn 8, 9 as well. Good use of track limits right there. Almost cutting turn 8, but managing to keep the wheel on track. Nice use of the 10. We did see a little bit of a lockup. Once again, we see another little lockup from Samad going into turn 10. I was mentioning this during the front backs aspect of the track here. Low tire wear is very brutal on this track, just considering how much you have to swing the car. When was the last time you raced the championship?
In a GP, I'd probably have to say last season. I haven't done much F1 racing this season, unfortunately. But yeah, it's definitely a very, very interesting track when it comes to tire wear. You have to be really careful. And I don't know, it might be one in the future that we might want to throw curveball in.
Curveball. I like the sound of that. Interesting. Currently on board with IUF William as he comes out of turn at 10. I kind of want to ask you what you mean by that. What do you mean by a little curveball there?
I think maybe we could talk behind closed doors, but our listeners here will just have to wait to see what PSRL has in store.
Fantastic. For those of you who are interested, make sure to tune in season 15. We've had a fantastic season 14. I've had a great time here in season 14. Some great racing with a lot of these guys. We've got a lot of new drivers join the grid. I believe we had 4 or 5 new individuals join, and all of them absolutely fantastic to watch on track. Give it, new folks to give Reimer a run for his money. Reimer, as I mentioned, our season 13 champion here. JMO crossing the line in 8th position here, V-Carb driver hitting turn 2 now. Let's go over to somebody who unfortunately disqualified his lap here. Currently on board with Rassam now. Mercedes driver, beautiful silver arrow here. I kind of want the drivers to give me their helmets or something. I'd like to display them as driver helmets. I feel like helmets are such a what's it called? Oh, excuse me, Rassam cutting turn 8 and turn 9 there. Huge cut, had way too much speed going to turn 8. Clearly did not feel comfortable making the corner and disqualified his lap time. A very reasonable thing to do. No reason to risk losing the car if you feel like you can't control it. But as I was saying, the feel like helmets are so indicative of a driver's personality, just how they design it. I don't think, I'll be honest, don't think F1 offers as much customizability as a helmet may offer, but that I guess that's a pretty slippery customization slope right there. As Cecilia crosses the line, does not improve her time here, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it looks like Hatfield said in the chat here, game volume is quite loud compared to voice. I don't know if we should turn up voice volume or turn down game volume, but
I'll turn down the game cap here. Thank you very much, Hatfields, for that information. I recently adjusted some of my OBS settings here, so and one of the settings that I adjusted was my game cap audio control. So let's see if me adjusting that maybe does anything. Um, Money, actually, if you wouldn't mind maybe checking in on the stream for me now, how that may sound. Currently on board with Mac here, going into turn 5, coming up into turn 6 here. As I mentioned, Mac, one of our podium hunters, great driver from season 13, very deep into turn 6. As I mentioned here, the turn 6 and 7 line, if you go way too deep or maybe way too short, you really mess up your entrance into turn 7, and that compromises your first DRS zone straight there. So again, a very aggressive track. It's going to rely a lot on driver confidence here. And so far, nobody's gotten close to challenging on the Say Samad here. Still almost essentially 4 tenths of a second ahead of the rest of the grid. Frost in second place, currently on an outlap. Tiffany in the Alpine, one of our reserve drivers here, currently doing better than his full-time Patriot Rebel. And Durain Zaria in 5th place here, a little under half a second away from our pole sitter in the McLaren. A lot of our drivers currently in the pits right now.
yeah, it looks like we have a little bit of movement as Mahmoud heads out at the end of a train with Alpine and Haas leading the way. As we have a silver arrow. Whoa, as the Haas driver almost strikes the wall. Looks like that was Hatfield.
All right. Let's see. Currently on board with Cecizo. I do once again apologize. I'm adjusting some stuff in the background here. I want to make sure everything's good to go for the race. The setup of somehow, some way, never stays the same for me. So I need to always go in and adjust it just a tad here. Let's see. All right. Cecizo currently in the casino straight here, coming up on the wall of champions. All right, didn't hit the wall. Good thing. It looks like he's about to start his actual hot lap here, and crossing the line using a fair amount of battery. Touches the grass. Oh, it cut back. He did not touch the grass. I apologize, but does
Whoa!
lose the car coming out of turn 1 there into the grass. Very unfortunate moment for the Haas driver, blocking the pit lane as the V-carb hits the wall. Trying to dodge the Haas driver. Very unfortunate moment there. Oh my goodness. Super sad for JMO.
Very unfortunate moment as he gets disqualified. I hate this.
That's so
This
tough.
stewarding automatically done by the game. That's terrible stewarding.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened. Super unfortunate for our V-Carb driver there. Who's, I think, going to be starting 20th now. I think that's a forced 20th start there. JMO, fantastic driver. I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to see him cut through the field as he tries to make up lost positions there. But super unfortunate there. Wow. Thankfully, there wasn't car-on-car contact, I guess. But very. How was that even how was he even blocking? He was. Oh, whatever, man. Oh,
Yeah.
this game. Oh.
I don't know. Maybe there was someone behind him and he was driving slow or, whatever. As Deranged Aura crosses the line, getting up into P6, overtaking William, who is on a hot lap right now. Rear end tapping the wall, unfortunately, for the Aston Martin driver, as he comes to one of the most interesting parts of the track, in my opinion. As the Haas driver is actually off the track there.
I believe that was
You can't
Cecizo.
park there.
Yes, you can't park there. You can't. Hey. Very tricky corners to swing into. I don't blame the Haas driver. Going into turn 8, trying to hold your speed is a very simple and easy way to lose your rear, unfortunately. Again, one of the trickier corners on the track. Second trickiest corner after turns 13 and 14 here as we now watch IUFO Williams cross the line here and does not improve, or
P4.
P4, excuse me, he did improve, uh, going over his other Aston Martin compatriot here who is in the pits at the moment. Let's go over to Prost, who's currently hunting for a provisional pole start.
Oh, it looks
Oh,
like he might have made a mistake on his lap as he cuts the corner there.
very unfortunate. Let's jump over to Fifitetti here, currently third position in the Alpine, coming up into turn 8 and 9. As we've seen, very tricky corner. We've seen a lot of individuals just completely decide to shoot over the corner. In fact, I thought it looked like Fifitetti cut the corner there, and one of the kick drivers off to the side there as Fifitetti also decides to pull off to the side, and he hits a little spin there. I think he's aware that he's on the stream. Little flex here. Fifitetti, you should have gone for the pole, brother. Nice little burnout there from the Alpine driver. Uh, that'd be so funny if you got disqualified right now. Hitting the wall, and it looks like the Alpine driver did not feel confident on their outlap as Fifitetti retires from the session. A little showcase there. We like seeing that. Focoena, unfortunately, on an outlap, slamming into the wall, losing his front wings here. Our driver's having a little bit of fun right now on track. I love to see it. I love to see it. Good spirits, it seems. A lot of the drivers seem to be at least feeling happy that they're in the race here today. That was funny. Oh, I feel terrible for JMO, man. I can't get over that. It's such a silly thing.
Yeah, and evidently there's a polar bear in Arlington, Texas, coming to you live from Prosk's stream.
What does that mean?
I don't know. He said something in chat. There's what's a polar bear doing in Arlington?
Prosk, you gotta go. You gotta get it out of there, dude. You need to go do something about that right now. Uh, very strong lineup here. Our number 1 through 10th are all within a second of our pole position. MSA Samada and the B Carb here. Very strong front half of the grid. Um, you haven't seen that meme, aka meme P2. I've never heard of that before.
A place. Oh, okay. Yeah.
We learn stuff. We're a learning community here. You and P2, I don't think that's that abnormal. You did a fantastic job here. MSA Samad does seem to be the car to beat here. Only about 2 tenths ahead of Prost. I think we're going to be seeing quite a bit of action here today. Both of the Aston Martin drivers starting quite high up on the grid as well, 4th and 5th position. Um, let's see what happens. I kind of hope that we have mixed conditions. I've been kind of touting it for the last 2 races here, but I kind of want some intermediate action by the end of the race, maybe even full wet conditions. See some of the Ferrari pit crew sitting in their chairs over there. I This might be nitpicky, not even nitpicky, maybe dumb to ask, but I'm kind of curious what's on those monitors in the pit lane there. Do they actually show anything? It looks like they show stuff. Let's see, that looks like telemetry, some telemetry data, some positional data maybe. I don't know what the bottom left screen is there though. Interesting. Cool little details. Cool little details that bog down my PC. While we're waiting around, though, allow me to once again plug in our wonderful racing league here. Ladies and gentlemen, Purple Sector Racing League is a F1 dedicated or F1 primary racing league. We are attempting to open up into other categories. Currently, our biggest contender right now is LMU. We have quite a nice grid of LMU drivers, and we'd love to have more individuals join us. If you're interested in racing in general, maybe you just haven't done it before, you maybe want to switch it up a little bit, please feel free to join us. We absolutely love having both veteran and rookie drivers. We do have a Division 2 race for F1 here. Division 2 offers an opportunity for rookie drivers to kind of learn how to sim race, offers opportunities for racecraft, and then of course we have our Division One here that we are currently watching. This is our set of dedicated drivers, fantastic drivers, all of them, and don't feel pressured in terms of putting on a good show. Sometimes the long game is the way to go. You learn by racing. And of course, if you're a veteran driver, we have quite a slew of competitive drivers here to offer a fun little bit of a wheel to wheel challenge here. Reimer, MC Samad, Prosk, Fifatetti, more that I could go on about. But once again, great league offering a lot of opportunity. And again, as I mentioned, we are interested in opening up to other motorsport divisions. So if you'd like to join us maybe for GT3 racing, LMU, ACC, or others, please join. The more people join, the more likely that is to occur. We're, I think, almost at the point where we may be able to do something with LMU, but we need just a few more drivers, I think, to really get some races going in that regard. Currently waiting for our players right now to finalize their strategy calls. As I said that, we are in our formation lap. Money, would you like to go down our driver grid here with?
Yeah, absolutely. Starting off with our pole position, we have MSA Samad in the V carb, followed by Williams, Mr. Prosk in P2 here, evidently a polar bear in Arlington, Texas. FIFA Teddy, reserve driver here in the Alpine. Very good to see him. Followed by William, another reserve driver, followed by MTS, both in the Alpines, and Reimer in P6 in the Ferrari. Alpine driver, Mr. Rebel, it sounds like he did have an issue in qualifying. He was pretty confident he would have pole, so he does have some work ahead of him. Deranged Aura in P8 in the McLaren. P9, Rassam, Mercedes. Mahmoud in the Ferrari, following up, or finishing up rather, our top 10. Looks like Sakizo and Wicked Sticks may have made some contact as they are reset to grid. Despy and Mac, the Red Bull pair here in P11 and 12 respectively, followed by Fokowina in the Kick Sauber. Elliott in the Williams, following up by the Haas driver Sakizo. P16 is Gunner in the McLaren, followed by Hatfield in the Haas, and the Kick Sauber of Wicked Sticks in P18. Our bottom line here will be Mini B-Man in the Mercedes and the V-Carb driver, JM.
Once again, super unfortunate moment for the V-Carb driver there coming out of the pits. No fault of his own. Unfortunate game stuff that we just simply aren't capable of adjusting ourselves. But starting 20th, I'm excited to see the run up the field that JMO may possibly have here as we're watching our drivers finalize on the grid. Money, I'd like to let you start us off once the 5 lights come up.
Absolutely. It looks like they are just getting started now, as there is an issue with the first light, but now it's fixed and 5 lights are out. Good launch off the line by both P1 and P2. It looks like just a couple changes here on the grid. Rebel falling down to P10, P11. Reimer and Deranged fighting for P5. Looks like MTS taking over actually and following into P6. And oh my goodness, big accident here with MTS.
Full safety car.
Full safety car as he has crashed into the wall, it appeared. Not entirely sure what had happened there. Very, very dangerous moment there at those high speeds at the beginning of the race.
I believe from what I saw, the Haas and the Aston Martin driver made contact as they tried swinging into turn 3. The Haas driver missing their front left end plate here at the moment. It seems to me that maybe an unfortunate wheel hook occurred there. MTS obviously not able to control the car with how quickly the grass came up, losing the car and slamming straight into the wall. Super unfortunate race start here for the Aston Martin driver, who started off in 5th position here. My wheel crashed.
Yeah, as we head over to our position change, Deranged Aura up 3 positions, Mahmoud up 4, Reimer down 1, Rassam up 1, Rebel down 2, Despy and Mac both up 1, Gunner actually, big winner at the race start, up 4 positions, with Elliott and Sakizo both up 1 position. as Focoina is down 2 and Mini B-Man's up 3 positions as well. Hatfield's even, Jam's up 2, Wicked Sticks is down 1, and unfortunately MTS is down 15, and he will not finish the race. Gunner actually heads into the pits along with quite a few other drivers. There might have been a big pileup here, but also they might be swapping. Let's see if they're changing tires. Looks like a lot of them are hopping over to the hard tires.
Very interesting strategy call here. I'm not too sure. Obviously, Prost managed to hold on to their second position. Didn't seem like he incurred any damage on race start. So very interesting to see one of our race leaders come into the pits and switch out the hard tires. Once again, very interesting. It seems like a third of the grid essentially came in to switch out their tires. As I mentioned, the tire wear on this track can be quite aggressive. It may be possible that they're thinking of a long-term strategy, or I'm wondering if it may be indicative of a weather change. Maybe they're hoping to ride out the hard tires until rain comes along. Maybe they're anticipating another safety car. This is a very tricky track. Alone, not counting the fact that you're racing against other folks, they may be banking on the fact that somebody crashes maybe later into the race and they're able to gain a few positions off of that, or maybe they're on a soft set of tires as well. A lot of strategy here. Very curious to see what will be occurring here. JMO did manage to gain 5 positions, moving up to the 15th. As I mentioned, our V-Carb driver maybe putting on quite a show for us here on race start. Papatism, who is Wicked Sticks, our kick driver in 16th, seems like his racing wheel crashed, unfortunately. Thankfully, no incidents occurred, but I'm very curious if he's going to be able to get that fixed up in time by the time the race starts.
Yeah, not too sure. That comment might have been about the incident in the formation lap that had reset them to grid. Hopefully he did get that figured out, yes. Very interesting here. It looks like the Red Bull drivers split their strategy here. They were together just one after another, and Despy stayed out as Mac has changed tires.
Safety car is in this lap. We will be going back to full race conditions in just a moment. Let's see if any of our drivers here take advantage of the restart here. Of course, Fifotetti eyeing the back of the V-Carb here at the moment. We have IUF and William, who is gunning for a podium finish. I believe he finished in the podium. I forgot what race this season, but he has been a podium finisher for us. Of course, he's trying to gun for another podium. Mahmudev and Reimer here, the Ferrari team, one of the stronger constructor lineups here, maybe not the strongest, to be quite frank with you, sitting in 4th and 5th position, replacing the Aston Martins. And M6 Mod seems to be taking us back to not race conditions yet. Actually, I thought he'd rip it off of the start line, and he takes us back to full racing conditions here. As it seems like Mahmudev trying to go around the outside. Reimer hitting the Aston Martin. IUF William blocking up, losing the rear there. Very unfortunate contact for the Ferrari driver. Mahmudev still sticking on the inside of his teammate. Maybe going for a pass coming up to turn 3 and decides not to do anything. We did see a little bit of action here in the back. Prost overtaking his partner driver, Elliott, as he moves up into 9th position now. I'm still so curious about the hard tire decision here. I'm not really sure if it's going to be too advantageous for some of these drivers to pit it so early outside of just a strategy call, of course. We currently have Kick driver and Elliott side by side coming to turn 8. Focoena manages to get the position here, and it's coming up into turn 10. It seems like Elliott actually has right wing damage. Elliott, Williams driver, has right wing damage that is going to be super fortunate as the Mercedes driver looking for the inside pass on the Williams coming up to turn 10. Very deep dive there, side by side as they make contact with Focoena. Making him lose his rear. The McLaren driver taking advantage of the situation and gets a pass on the Mercedes driver. Super unfortunate there for Mini B-Man, as Mini B-Man is trying to warm up his tires, it seems like to me. And Elliott makes a pass on Focoena, hitting the wall of champions, and oh no! Oh. We have a pileup! We have a pileup as Elliott hits the wall of champions. Oh no! Two drivers have been DNS. Focoena, 10-second penalty for severe collision here. The McLaren driver of deranged aura went straight into the back of the Williams driver due to the contact into the wall of champions. That is going to be 3 drivers out of the race there. Super unfortunate, as I believe we are going back to safety car conditions. Oh my goodness.
Yes, and everybody keep in mind for any time penalties that are not served during the race, we can remove those afterwards. That is the blessing of doing a little bit of stewardship here, or the stewardship we can do. A very, very unfortunate moment. I think it was just a very tough racing incident there heading into the Wall of Champions. And of course, as one car gets caught up, it's going to catch the next, and that's going to make it even more difficult for the third and fourth and fifth car coming in there. Very, very crazy moment. Um, as we only had, I think, two true laps of racing speed.
I anticipate we're going to be seeing quite a few more pit stops here. Obviously, everybody behind Elliott fortunately caught up in that crash. I did see a fair amount of wing damage from a lot of the folks that didn't just straight up DNF there, as we actually see Emisay Samad now dive into the pit lane here, followed by Ayuafon Williams as well. Ayuafon Williams did get a pass on Fifetetti, who's now our race leader here, as they come up to the safety car.
Huge a lot of drivers heading into the pits here.
It seemed to me that Elliott did an around the outside pass on who was the driver that passed? I'm already forgetting here. Elliott made a pass on one of the drivers though, going around the outside of the wall of turn 13 and 14. Unfortunately, compromised his line, and it didn't seem like he was able to correct himself quite in time. And unfortunately went straight into the wall. Super unfortunate for Elliott. Would have been a fantastic pass, of course, going into turn 13, 14 there. But unfortunately, that is just one of the risks that you take when attempting to pass in those particular corners there. Let's throw on some pit information. I'd be quite surprised here if we, yes, Mac and JMO, unfortunately, victims of the crash here. Coming out of the pits with a fresh set of wings, I bet. Let's see if they change tires as well. Probably worthwhile. And yes, JMO throwing on a fresh set of mediums. Mac, fresh set of hards. We have Focoena, who threw on a fresh set of hards. Mini B-Man, fresh hards. Despy, fresh hards. Rassam, fresh hards. Ayufon William, fresh hards. And Emisay Samad with fresh hards as well. Mahmudev, also with fresh hards. And we're back to racing conditions, actually. It seems like the crash must have obviously not been that bad, as Fifetetti, I believe, is already taking us back to race conditions, taking advantage of the fact that some folks were probably sleeping going into the Wall of Champions, gaining 6/10 on Reimer here at the moment. Sometimes being a consistent and clean driver is quite enough. I don't think Reimer's actually done any passes under racing conditions here. Already moving up to second position here. Very interesting to see.
Yeah, some very high impact moments here. Only 7 laps into the race now as we're heading back into racing speed. We're going to head over and take a look at the position changes. Fifetetti up 2 positions, Reimer up 4, Rebel up 4 as well now. He does have a better chance to be fighting for that podium. Prosk unfortunately down 2 positions, Samad down 4, and William down 2 as well. As Prosk and Emisay Samad are fighting one another here heading into the DRS zone.
Yeah, very deep dive by Emisay Samad into turn at 10 there, side by side, and it seems like Emisay Samad may be going for a pass. No, he does not set himself up for a pass. Prosk cracked with us right there going to turn 13. Very unfortunate here. Prosk is ahead of the pole sitter at the moment. If he's able to keep Emisay Samad ahead or behind him, excuse me, then Prosk may have a pretty good opportunity of top spot of the podium here. Prosk does have a little bit of traffic to go through here. Rebel, Reimer, and Fifetetti, who are on an older set of tires at the moment.
Yeah, and Prosk does have to watch out. His tires are not too much older than Samad's, but 4 laps old. At the end of those tires, it's going to be really worth something for Samad.
Mahmudev sitting outside of the slipstream of McLaren. Very interesting decision there. Swinging into turn 10. Sitting right behind McLaren here. maybe seeing a very deep aggressive dive, and no, Gunner using a fair amount of battery here, trying to pull away. Bob Buddha just biding his time here at the moment. We may be watching a pass here on the casino street. Yes, Bob Buddha, very by the book pass here, going around the McLaren driver, moving up to the 7th position here. Good patience from the Ferrari driver as he swings in the wall of changes. A little bit of racing here in the back as Rasan tries to go for an inside pass to turn 1, passing the McLaren driver of Gunner at AD77 here, moving up into 8th position as well. Gunner doesn't seem to have any apparent damage here. Very unfortunate double positional loss here for the McLaren driver. As we see Ayoub William, as we cut to Prosk, Ayoub William trying to go around the outside of MSA Samad, and he does get the move done here at the moment, going up into DRS Zone 1. Ayoub William does have DRS advantage on MSA Samad, and he gets the move done, moving up to 5th position. Fantastic maneuver there from Ayoub William from turn 6 here. I know Mahmouda is going to be wanting his position back, setting himself up possibly for a dive. Does not go for anything, as we actually see Prosk possibly rear end Rebel, allowing Ayoub William to get a good run coming out of turn 10. Very unfortunate moment. I'm not too sure what happened there. I didn't see any contact clearly, and we actually have a full safety car again. Focoena is out of the race. It seems like Focoena may have lost the car. Wicked Sticks gets a 10-second time penalty for colliding with Focoena, actually. Very unfortunate moment there, as I actually see the kick driver is missing both front end plates on the wings right now. Super unfortunate moment. I'm not too sure what may have happened here between my teammates. Gonna have to see what may have occurred. We have 4 drivers now out of the race. It seems like the pass attempt occurred on turn 8. Maybe Focoena lost the car and hit the wall. Not too sure what may have occurred there. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are back to safety car conditions as Wicked Sticks goes into the pit lane to serve their 10-second time penalty, as well as get a fresh set of front wings here. Very aggressive driving here today. Very unfortunate, though, that some of our drivers here are unfortunately out of the race. Canada, again, is just one of those tracks that is so tricky to push the limits on. As we saw with Elliott, trying to go for passes in tight areas just resulted in a DNF, unfortunately, because of how close the walls can be in some of these areas. But Prosk here, managing to hold on. He does have Ayoub William and MSA Samad behind him, as well as Mahmoudev. So quite a lineup of drivers here in our top 5 at the moment. Reimer holding on now onto first place at the moment. And I'm curious how long the safety car is going to last. Hopefully a while, so my driver can catch up to the grid here. Hatfield leaves the session in the Haas. Very interesting. May have unfortunately disconnected. Let's look down to see if we see any damage as he actually goes into the pit lanes. That may have been a intentional, possibly intentional? No. Hatfield switches onto a new set of hard tires coming off of his old set of hard tires. I know they weren't too old, maybe 10 laps old. I don't believe Hatfield pitted at the start of the race here. A lot of action in the midfield. Thankfully, though, it seems like our front runner drivers kept it fairly clean. Quite excited to see what happens here. Fifetetti is currently sitting behind Gunner now, ahead of his teammate Rebel, one of our fastest drivers up the grid. It's going to be curious to see how possibly both of these drivers work together to move their way up the grid. I know Fifetetti is quite a defensive driver. I'm curious if he's going to let his teammate through. He is a reserve driver, so he may be wanting to try to show out a little bit here today, and maybe putting on an Alpine versus Alpine show first. Big green disaster, Focoena here. Let's see, I lost control and he tried to swerve around me. It's my fault, my bad. Papatism, fortunately, lost control of the vehicle. Focoena attempting to dodge it, seems like. And yeah, as Focoena says, big green disaster here. Very unfortunate. Canada is quite a tricky race, as Focoena is pointing out. And sometimes unfortunate moments happen. Of course, we had that huge pileup in turn 14. Anything can happen on this track. Money, did you see? Do you have the capability to see the weather forecast possibly?
No, unfortunately not. But I did see William in the beginning of the session say some form of phrase along the lines of, "Oh shit, it's not raining," essentially. So yeah, I think we're gonna have a dry race for the rest of the session.
Would you mind throwing up the race director and see if any of our drivers here have cut track limits already? I feel like I've seen quite a few folks cut turn 13 going into the Wall of Champions. So I'm curious how many of these drivers are just pushing the limit right now.
Yeah, it looks like Samad and Elliot are on the edge here, along with Reimer on track limits. So if they do have one more, they will probably get a penalty here. And I think William is close as well. Yeah, he has 2 track limit warnings.
Huge moment here then for some of our drivers, Prost, Babudev, and Sam, who have a little bit of track limits to lean on. If anything, we are going to be going back to racing conditions as the safety car pulls away here, and Reimer really slows up the field here, trying to warm his tires up. I think we're going to be seeing a little bit of a pile up here. I bet you Reimer's going to take us back to racing conditions as soon as he hits turn 14. That seems to be the spot. A lot of wiggling here as a lot of our drivers are just trying to keep the temps up in those tires here. A lot of hard tires on the track at the moment right now as well. So those tires will be losing heat very, very quickly at these low racing speeds. And Reimer, I think, actually took us back to racing conditions before the Wall of Champions here, as Prost manages to hold on pretty tightly to our packed leader here. I'm going to say Samad and Ayuf and William very close to each other in the rear here. We have Fittipaldi 2 tenths behind Gunner ahead of him as well, currently on a fresher set of medium tires. And our first track limits of the day here, Mini B-Man with a 3-second time penalty. Wicked Sticks speeding in the pit lane, 10-second time penalty. Super fortunate for the kick driver here. Very curious as to why he may have gone back to the pits. Currently on board with Ayuf in third position here at the moment, 3 tenths behind Frost here. Close enough to possibly make a move. I'm going to say Samad, 3-second time penalty. Our first of the top 5 drivers here to get a track limit time penalty will be affecting this race quite a bit. As Ayuf and William rears Prost, pushing him out of the way going into turn 10. Bit of a moment there. I don't see any damage on his wings, thankfully, but that did compromise Proska's line and may leave him susceptible to get overtaken by the Aston Martin now. Ayuf and William decides not to go for a pass, possibly out of respect, which I completely understand in that type of scenario. Mac makes a pass in the backfield, moving up into 12th. Rebel makes a pass on Gunner as well, moving up into 8th, but Teddy did make the pass as well here. Mac, I'm seeing Mac lose quite a few positions here as Cecizo goes on the inside of turn 1 here. I don't see any damage on the Red Bull car. I'm very curious as to what may have compromised his line out of turn 14, and Hatfield very, very close to the rear of the Red Bull. Do you know if Hatfield managed to rejoin the session?
No, I'm not sure. I am gonna send him another invite here, though. So hopefully if he's not in, he will be able to join back. I did send him one when he left the session.
Fantastic. Hopefully we do have our Haas driver join us here. The Red Bull driver making an outside pass on Cecizo going into turn 8. Not able to make the move stick, unfortunately, having to cut through turn 8, and we do have a pass in the lead here. Ayuf and William moving past Prosk into second position, coming out of turn 10. That will leave Prosk susceptible to Embassy Samad, currently on board with the V-Carb driver, who gets kind of squeezed a little bit into the wall there. Trying to go for an outside pass. Ayuf and William, a 3-second time penalty as well. 2 of our top 5 drivers currently have 3-second time penalties. Very unfortunate as Ayuf and William tried setting himself up for a pass in turn 1 on Reimer, not able to get the move done here. A lot of moves down in the backfield here. Max setting himself up for a very late
Samad
lunge.
losing the car.
Uh-oh.
He was able to get control again.
lot of action on board right now. Mac, very deep dive on Hatfield, making the pass up into 13th position. Emissary Samad, as you mentioned, lost the car. I don't see any damage on it. That does leave him susceptible now to Mahmudev in the Ferrari right now, who's undoubtedly going to take advantage of the situation. All of our top 8 drivers here are pretty much only separated by a second for all intents and purposes here. Very, very, very close driving. The top 7 drivers are all within 1.5 seconds of each other. Just fantastic driving from the front end of the grid. Nobody quite close enough to make any kind of move here. We do have a DRS train going on at the moment. Ayuf and William cutting turn 13 again. Cross, 3-second time penalty. We're starting to see these time penalties show up. A very unfortunate moment for the Williams driver. Cincinnati very close to making the move there on the Mercedes ahead of him. Not quite close enough to make anything happen, unfortunately. And Rebel sitting behind his teammate, undoubtedly really not being aggressive. I know Rebel would probably make a deep dive on any other driver, but maybe you guys are trying to hold out respect for his teammate here at the moment.
These top 8 drivers are really, really tight-knit here at the front of the field, just all within about half a second of one another. If we swap over to the leader time, P1 through P8 are 3 seconds within all of one another. Very, very close racing here at the front of the pack.
JMO does get a move done on the McLaren driver. Gunner in DRS zone 1 moves up into 10th position. Fantastic move for Fifetti, gaining a fair bit of time on Masama ahead of him. A fair amount of battery, or actually no, not using any battery at all. Taking a bit of a defensive line as he comes up into the wall of champions. I would say Samad, very aggressive run on cross, not setting himself up for a dive though. Seems to me that these drivers maybe starting to feel the tire wear, but not seeing a lot of aggressive maneuvers now at this point. Trying to sit as close as you can to the driver is quite difficult with the dirty air coming out of these cars. There's going to be a lot of tire wear occurring here for the back end of our top 7 here, so they're going to want to try to make a move as soon as possible.
As a slight mistake heading through that sector 2 chicane. Say Samad overtaking him. All of those drivers, P2 through P4, with a 3-second time penalty. Mahmoud looking to make a dive here. He does make the dive, gets the position. Trosk was going for the switchback, but unfortunately Mahmoud had a little moment, so he could not make the switchback happen.
We have a drag race between 2 of our drivers here. Ayuf and William and Reimer side by side. Coming up to the wall of champions, Reimer having a little more speed than Ayuf and Williams. Does Ayuf and Williams challenge? And he does not. Ayuf and Williams does not challenge into the corner. Very reasonable decision here. Good drag race coming out of turn 10 there. Fifetti taking a defensive position here, defending turn 1 from Rebel. Seems like Fifetti is not going to allow his Alpine teammate through. Rebel may have to consider aggressive movements here. Fifetti, 3-second time penalty as he defends the inside going into turn 5 there. Holds off Rebel from making the move and manages to hold on to 7th position here. A lot of action from both of these drivers. It's really reminding me of Alonso and Esteban Ocon at the moment. Hopefully we don't see any major collisions with both drivers. It seems to me that Rebel feels a little more comfortable on his brakes. Fifetti braking a little bit earlier than Rebel would probably like him to. Ayuf and William going for another pass into turn 10, side by side as they come out, hitting turn 11. Another drag race for both of these drivers, and it seems like Reimer got the better exit here as he takes a defensive maneuver. Ayuf and William trying to come up on the outside of turn 13. A little bit of contact there, not able to make a move stick. Reimer holds on to his position.
Whew. Yeah, that was really, really, really too close for comfort there. Might have a zebra stripe here in my pants as MSA Samad is actually fighting William for P2.
Gets pushed a little wide by William. We have a safety car, ladies and gentlemen. We have a full safety car. Very aggressive driver from our top 7 drivers. Very, very exciting to watch. Unfortunately, it seems like somebody may have suffered some kind of damage. I'm watching Mini B-Man go into the pits. It's possible that he did get wing damage. I did see a yellow flag at the bottom end of turn 10 there, and it seems like, yes, Mini B-Man does have wing damage as he goes into the pits, puts on a fresh set of hard tires, and switches out his wing. Very, very unfortunate moment there for the Mercedes driver, and I'm very curious how this may switch up the grid now. We're about to see possibly some safety car pit stops now from our top 7 drivers. Throw on some fast lap info. MSA Samad currently holds the fastest lap of 1:12.319. Very, very quick here through Canada, obviously making his way up to third position as we've been watching slowly. Prosk, unfortunately, looks like he lost the position as well to Mahmudev. I did miss that action there, unfortunately. And we actually have a train of cars go into the pit lane here as our top 5, top 6 drivers, top 7, 8 drivers go into the pit lane. I believe we're about to watch Despy gets a 10-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane. Our top 10 drivers all going into the pit lane, taking advantage of the safety car conditions. It seems like Reimer is going to be coming out on top, of course. I'm not seeing any pit lane passes at the moment. And our entire grid is going to be finishing on this. Hatfield pushing up to 4th place. Hatfield deciding not to take advantage of the safety car, decides to stay out, moving up into 5th position here. Let's throw on some tire data. Hatfield on 9-lap-old hard tires. He's pretty much surrounded. The entirety of the rest of the grid seems to have switched out onto fresh sets of tires. I'm very curious how Hatfield is going to be switching up the action we've been watching here. I don't know if he holds this, quite frankly, Money. I think this is going to be quite an uphill battle for Hatfield.
It will be really interesting to see how his next 15 laps go. I mean, my goodness, I couldn't have said this would be the lineup here. Unfortunately, missing quite a few of our good drivers, not able to finish the race here as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we're currently in safety car conditions, let us go through our top drivers. Reimer in the Ferrari managing to hold on to 1st place, really taking advantage of a lot of the safety cars that occurred. I don't think Reimer performed any passes under racing conditions, actually. So he managed to get really, really lucky with the safety cars here so far. Him and Ayo van Williams have been battling very, very aggressively this whole race. Ayo van Williams sitting right behind him on a set of hard tires, actually. It's interesting to see how Reimer is going to make these medium tires last until the end of the race. MSA Samad in 3rd position here. We've seen quite a bit of movement from him as well. Of course, Hatfield in the Haas moved up into 4th position, deciding not to pit with the rest of the grid. 9-lap, or 10-lap technically now, I guess. Prosk, unfortunately, fell down into 5th position here. Rassam in the Mercedes. 6th position, Fifatetti, medium tires in the Alpine 7th position. Mahmudev in 8th position, fresh hards. Despy, fortunately, 10-second time penalty for the Red Bull driver, 9th position. Rebel, currently in 10th position. Very unfortunate from Rebel. It seems like he was being held up by his teammate just based off of the braking zones for both of these folks. I'm very curious to see what the Rebel is going to do to work his way back up the field. Gunner in 11th position. JMO in 12th position. Mac, 13th position. Mini B-Man, 14th position, managing to catch up to the grid now after his unfortunate incident coming out of turn 10. Cecizo, 15th position, trying to play catch up with the grid. And Wicked Sticks, currently 16th position, a minute behind the grid at the moment. But honestly, if these safety cars keep up, I do see him catching up very quickly. A little bit of a choke up here coming out of turn 10. Do you think GT3s brake better than F1 cars? I think F1 cars have the best braking in the sport.
Yeah, I think they do.
Yeah, it's. I bring that up, folks, because in other classes, I guess GT3s actually have very similar braking capabilities to hypercars or LMP2s. So in the braking zone, actually, sometimes they're better than hypercars or LMP2s. But of course, F1 is the pinnacle of motorsport here, as we see Ayo van Williams take quite a wide line in turn 1 there, and the braking is really what makes the difference in F1 as well. You're able to just get on the brakes so late. Of course, as I speak about that, Daniel Ricciardo immediately comes to mind, one of the best late braking drivers of his generation before the change to the downforce era. Now, if this safety car stays out for another lap or two, Reimer's strategy of medium tires may actually work to his advantage. For all intents and purposes, his tire wear really shouldn't be all too high with how slowly we've been moving here. Let's look at our stop data. Reimer's only done one stop. That was the stop that we just witnessed him doing. Ayof and William with 2 stops, Samad with 2 stops. We actually have JMO and Mac who've done 3 stops, Wicked Sticks with 4 stops, and Cecizo as well with 3 stops. We are going to be going back to the racing conditions here at the end of the lap. Very curious to see how Reimer starts us off. He did start us off on the casino straight here to racing conditions. I'm curious if he's going to be a little more patient possibly this time. A lot of wiggling here at the front of the grid. These drivers trying to keep these tires warm. And Reimer takes us back to racing conditions coming out of turn 14 here. JMO, 3-second time penalty for excessive track limits. Very unfortunate as Prost goes to the inside of Hatfield coming up to turn 1. Hatfield not able to make a defensive maneuver in time, and Prost moves up into 4th position. As Rassam tries to go for an outside maneuver on the Haas driver, those fresh sets of parts clearly working to his advantage. Hatfield not able to hold on as Fippetetti also takes advantage, moving up. Hatfield already losing out on 3 positions here. And now Mahmudev sitting behind the Haas driver, maybe going for a dive coming to turn 6. Fakes him out, does not go for a dive. And Hatfield is going to have quite an uphill battle as we come up to the end of the race. That speed difference between the Ferrari and the Haas here. Red Bull sitting behind the Red Bull driver here at the moment. Hatfield braking a little too late, gets passed by the Red Bull driver. Red Bull gets a run out of turn 10. Hatfield goes for a defensive shake here, using a lot of the slipstream offered by the Red Bull in front of him. Maybe seeing an overtake into the wall of champions, possibly. No, Hatfield decides to back out of the passing. Red Bull gets a fantastic run though, coming out, going into the inside of the Haas. Hatfield trying to give him a little bit of a squeeze there, not able to shake him off, unfortunately, and Rebel moves into the inside onto turn 1. A lot of movement here as once again, JMO trying to take advantage of the weak tires of Hatfield, does get the pass coming to turn 3. Hatfield very rapidly falling to the back of the grid. Very unfortunate as we actually see some contact in the back there. Mini B-Man, I believe, hit the wall. Or no, there was contact between the Haas driver and the Mercedes driver. Mini B-Man missing his front left end plate there. Cecizo trying to make a pass into turn 4. It seems like there was some contact between the 2 drivers. Unfortunately, Mini B-Man not having a very lucky race today. Very, very intense racing here today, Money. Did you expect this race to go the way it's been going so far?
I did expect a little action, but I don't think I expected quite this much carnage. Quite a few of these drivers kind of surprising me, but I don't know if I had said, but I think it was Reimer, Samad, and Prosk, or Reimer, William, and Prosk on the podium here, so not too far off if we take off those penalties. 10 laps to go. Who do you think is going to be finishing on the podium here?
Quite frankly, Reimer just has such an advantage here by not having penalties on it. I mean, if he can afford to be overtaken maybe at the end of the race here and still hold on to first place. Cecizo, 3-second time penalty for excessive track limits. We did see Mini B-Man go for a move on him in the backfield here. Unfortunately, Cecizo not quite close enough to make a counter move. Did get a fantastic run through turn 7 though. We'll have DRS advantage. Mini B-Man using a fair amount of battery here to stay ahead of the Haas driver. saying a lot of these drivers within a second of each other. Unfortunately, overtaking can be quite tricky with the use of batteries as well. I'm very curious to see if we're going to be seeing any more aggressive maneuvers in the remaining 11 laps we have. JMO very close to the back of Despy here. We have a little bit of a train behind Rebel at the moment. JMO very rapidly gaining on the Rebel driver ahead of him. Those medium tires making themselves known here at the moment, but we're going to have to see how the end of the race looks like as those tires get run out. For all intents and purposes, it is two Red Bull drivers versus the V-Carb driver. If Mac is able to get into the mirrors of JMO, he may be able to help his teammate here from needing to really defend much from the V-Carb driver. Hatfield in the comments, I tried. I do respect the effort. I'm half hard. The tires are quite difficult on this track. We're skating on ice for all intents and purposes. Mahmudev here, very close to the rear. And, oh gosh, sorry. A lot of things happening on track. Wicket 6, it seems like he lost control of the car coming out of T1. Sets a yellow flag up. And Mahmudev, JMO, 3-second time penalty. A lot of time penalties. I saw Rebel got a 3-second time penalty as well. Mini B-Man gaining a position on Gunner, who doesn't seem to be too affected by the missing wing. Gunner making an outside move here on Cecizo, side by side, coming up to turn 3, and Cecizo manages to hold on to position as Gunner backs out of the wall. I'm curious how the stewarding is going to be going at the end of this race here. Do you think a lot of the incidents may have been driver error so far, or maybe seeing a little bit of driver phenomenon?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Just a few laps left. I really don't expect too many changes. There's going to be some DRS battles for sure, but a lot of these drivers have fought the entire race and tried to keep their position. So, yeah, we'll just kind of have to see how it ends up.
I'm going to say Samad here. Another 3-second time penalty for the V-Carb driver. He's up to 6 seconds now at the moment. Frost losing quite a bit of time, though, to the front of the grid here. I'm very curious as to what may be happening. We have another yellow incident here. It seems like the pit driver... Oh, went into the pits. Wicked 6 retiring from the session in the pit lane. Very unfortunate. Good effort from both of the kick drivers. This track is very, very tricky, as we know. Good effort from all of our drivers here at DNF. Very unfortunate moments for a lot of them. And we have Rasan here, very close to the rear of Fifetetti here. Unfortunately.
Oh, as Mahmoud hits Rassam and rear ends him.
Huge moment there. I missed that.
Rassam's off the track here.
Pulling off to the side. I'm not seeing Rassam go back to racing conditions. I'm curious as to what might be happening. It may be possible that Rassam got rear damage and is just given up, question mark? I'm not too sure what's happening.
Not sure exactly. It looks like they were just giving space for everyone there. But yeah, it looks like they might have some rear end damage, as Mahmoud definitely has some front end damage.
Despy, 3-second time penalty. Yes, Mahmoud is missing his front left end plate there. Definitely going to be affecting here for the rest of the race. Very unfortunate moment there. Rassam, unfortunately, compromised his entrance into turn 8, and that seemed to have slowed him down too much there. And Mahmoud, unfortunately, not accounting for that, and rear-ended him there. It seems like, yes, Rassam drives into the pit lane. He's very, very slow into the pits, it's possible that he did in fact have rear wing damage that is not fixable. And rear wing damage is pretty much a killer in this game, unfortunately. You lose all downforce in the rear tires. So very unfortunate moment there for the Mercedes driver. We have 5 DNFs now for this race.
Oh, and Rassam said his wheel actually disconnected, so it might not have been Mudev's fault.
Fortunate.
So maybe something had happened during that turn, and that's the reason their rear end was struck there.
Super unfortunate then, actually. Big ups to Rassam for immediately saying,
Whoa!
oh,
Big moment here is Mahmoud. I don't know. I think the Alpine drivers were tangled up with one another. Gas pedal disconnected. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Rassam having some technical difficulties causing that collision there. Very unfortunate.
Fifitetti cutting the corner into turn 9, lets his teammate through. Unfortunately, Despy taking advantage of the situation, passes Fifitetti and moves up into 7th position here. Rebel is going to have this Red Bull driver on his rear now. Prost managed to make a move on MSA Samad as well, moved up into 3rd position. I'm not quite sure what happened. I thought that it may have been a turn 1 pass, but MSA Samad was quite behind Prost by the time that turn 2 came up. So I'm curious if there may have been some kind of error there. Fifitetti losing quite a few positions as he actually goes into the pit lane now. Those tires may be unfortunately too worn, and he actually has wing damage. Excuse me, Fifitetti has wing damage as he throws on a set of soft tires.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it looks like William and Samad now have 6 seconds in time penalties. So Mahmoud is definitely going to catch them. And then Prosk, he only has a 3-second time penalty. So he just has to maintain a 3-second gap on Mahmoud, and he'll maintain his position 2. Or P2, not position as well.
Very interesting moment here. Ayofun Williams on the rear of the Ferrari driver here. I think those medium tires are going to start making themselves known, unfortunately. The tire wear is a little too high on this track. To Proska's advantage, if Ayofun Williams manages to choke up Reimer, Prosk may be in contention for a podium finish here, for P1 specifically. Ayofun Williams setting himself up for a pass here, trying to go around the outside. Unfortunately, not quite close enough to make anything happen. Very, very close to the rear of the Ferrari driver, though Reimer will have to consider the Aston Martin behind him when he goes in a lot of these corners now. That will give Prosk a fantastic advantage here, though, as he's trying to gun for a P1 finish.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of these drivers do want to finish first on track. So I can't imagine Reimer's going to give up this position. But even if he loses and goes down into P4, he should essentially be fine, all things considered, as long as everybody's real tight-knit as well.
We have Gunner and Mini B-Man fighting in the rear here. Mini B-Man feeling the effects of not only worn hard tires, but the fact that he's missing a wing here. Gunner will have better aero than the Mercedes driver. We're gonna have to see what happens here at the back end of the racetrack. Unfortunately, Gunner not quite close enough to make a move going into T10, but if he gets a good exit here gets a fantastic turn into T10, actually loses the rear, unfortunately, compromising his exit. As I was saying that, commentators curse there. Not quite close enough now to make any moves on the back straight here. And Reimer does get passed by Ayofun Williams coming out of T2 here. That is compromising Reimer. Now Prost very close to the rear of this Ferrari driver. 6-second time penalty, though, for Ayofun Williams. We do have to remember that. So Ayofun Williams is going to want to push as hard as humanly possible here. Unfortunately, a 6-second gap on our season 13 champion seems like a very difficult task to overcome. Mini B-Man, 3-second time penalty for excessive track limits. Very, very unfortunate for the Mercedes driver. Prosk is very, very close to the rear of this Ferrari now. We're going to have to see if DRS battery is able to do anything. And no, unfortunately not, as Reimer actually is fighting now and gets the pass on IO from William. William not able to offer too much of a fight due to the lack of battery, actually. Don't know if he's going to be able to get an exit here of T1. Reimer does have DRS right now at the moment. And no, IO from William just not quite close enough to make anything happen. Those medium tires are definitely affecting Reimer here. It seems like IO from Williams is able to go a little deeper in the corners. Those slightly pressured tires are going to be quite an advantage here. A lot of fighting in the rear here between Mini B-Man and the McLaren driver Gunner here. Been seeing a lot of continuous passes between both of these drivers. Good fighting from both of them, I have to assume here. Gunner trying to hold on to his position as Mini B-Man struggles to fight the downforce, the lack of downforce now that his car has.
Oh, as he loses the car.
As Money mentioned, and we're on board here, Mini B-Man unfortunately losing the car, hitting the rear of the wall. He may have rear damage, possibly. He's driving quite confidently, so maybe not. Very lucky moment there for the Mercedes driver. That was quite close, though, as Prost gets a fantastic run here on IO from Williams. Cuts the corner in the 13, trying to maximize the run out of 14. Not quite close enough to make a move here. The top three drivers here have been so unbelievably tight into each other. And Prost undoubtedly just trying to get a position pass. He will get the position at the end of the race with the time penalties that IO from Williams occurred. Unfortunately for Gunner here, Mini B-Man may be gone, but Fifetetti is still here, managing to pass the McLaren driver quite easily going into turn one here. Gunner not offering too much of a defensive shake, as he actually almost loses the rear of the car coming out of T2 there. And Mini B-Man actually losing quite a bit of time. He doesn't have his front wings. I didn't realize Mini B-Man is completely missing his front wings.
I don't know. That might be a visual bug.
Is that a visual bug? Okay. Okay.
I don't know.
Hatfield is very rapidly closing in on the driver. Let's jump up to our front runners here as Reimer comes across T14 here, doing a little bit of a wiggle, crossing the line here. IO from Williams slamming into the wall, finishing P3. Prosk P2, just based off of the time penalties. Very, very aggressive race here today. Fantastic race, though, to be quite honest with you. As a Mini B-Man, huge lockup of T10 here. This seems to be really our last final fight at the moment. As IO von William actually falls out of the podium due to the time penalties that's occurred, falling into P4 as Mahmudev finishes in P3. I do believe.
Great race for Ferrari. Fortunately, on our sister team Haas, is both drivers going to be finishing the race here, so very, very happy with those results. I know that the Red Bull drivers in previous weeks have struggled, and they're going to be very happy with taking home some good points today. Imase Samad in the V-Carb going to be happy with his points, and Prosk, I mean, just bravo, sir. Fantastic driving. P2, you're not a polar bear in Arlington. You're a legend on the track. Keep it up, man. Great job.
Fantastic race here in Canada. A lot of action. A lot of action. Very, very surprised here for the finish, quite honestly. Reimer started, I believe, P6, managed to move his way up the field with all the carnage that was occurring, and held on to P1 here. Great drive from the Ferrari driver. Prost managing to start and finish P2. Mahmudev as well. Fantastic race from the Ferrari driver as he finishes in P3, taking advantage of all the time penalties that his compatriots incur. Unfortunately, Imase Samad finishing 5th position once again due to time penalties. Rebel also, unfortunately, suffering time penalties, finishing 6th here. Currently watching our podium finishers. Reimer, season 13 champion here in the Ferrari, doing a little victory dance. Actually, a Canadian. I didn't realize Reimer was Canadian. Fantastic home turf victory here for the Ferrari driver. I'm sure that feels absolutely fantastic, especially with how hectic this race was today. Prost finishing in second position, and of course we have Mahmudev, our third Ferrari finisher here in the podium. I'm sure you feel fantastic money with two podiums from you drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. And then if you head over to the next screen, it actually shows that Hatfield won driver of the day. So fantastic, fantastic results from the Ferrari engines today. Really couldn't be happier unless it was a 1, 2, 3, 4 finish. But yeah, just a great race from everybody. Thanks for showing out here. Um, and I mean, we got 1 week break, and then where do we head?
We're heading into Monza for the next race after our break, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be I have it pulled up right here. Sorry. That is going to be May. Oh my gosh, that's so small on my screen. What does that say? That is going to be the 31st of May, the last day of May. We will be racing in Monza. What a race here. Fantastic for Hatfield here, who got driver of the day. Of course, unfortunately, I was not able to pull up the rest of the stats. Money, did you see who was fastest lap and anything like that?
No, I didn't end up catching it. I know it was one of those top drivers. I think it might have been Reimer actually.
Reimer finishing as our fastest lap driver of the day. A great race here in Canada. A lot of action, honestly. I am I can't say I'm too surprised. Of course, as I mentioned, this course is very tricky. Some walls are just kind of so much closer to the track than others. We did see a lot of fantastic overtaking, though. A lot of deep dives into turn 10. Great moves across the board, and just unfortunately, of course, some big moments. We lost five drivers. Rassam actually, I noticed, didn't manage to finish the race in time, unfortunately. So I'm sure very unfortunate moment there for the Mercedes drivers. I'm curious how the stewards will be asked to review the race here today. Rassam informing us, yes, that his wheel disconnected. Sorry, that's right, his gas pedal, uh, saying that he missed out on the podium. Rassam was quite fast here today. But I'd like to thank all of you folks for joining us. Prost, congratulations. Yes, let's go. A great finish for you. P2 start, P2 finish. You can't ask for much more, especially with the carnage that we witnessed here today. I'm very curious how it may have gone if some of these drivers maybe didn't pit on lap two after the first safety car. Reimer held a pretty standard strategy, pitting only at the end of the race and under safety car conditions, which of course gave him a huge advantage and managing to hold on to first place here. Money, what a race here today. Do you have anything to comment on?
Oh no, fantastic drive, and again, thanks everybody for showing out. Really excited heading into Monza in Mexico, and hope everybody enjoys the week off and gets some good practice in. We should have a good race ahead of us.
I do agree. Monza, Mexico, fantastic double race week coming up after the break. Monza, of course, the Palace of Speed, as it's called. We're going to be seeing a lot of aggressive driving there. One of the more famous and popular circuits in all of motorsports. We see a lot of different categories absolutely show out there. And then, of course, Mexico, one of my personal favorites. I think it's such a fun track to drive. Very curious to see what we may be observing there. We did have a very aggressive season 13 race in Mexico. It's one of the more memorable ones that I can think of. If you're curious about how season 13 may have gone, please check out our YouTube channel. We do have season 13 races saved there. So I'm very interested to see how some of these folks will be showing out in the upcoming races. But with that said, I don't believe any drivers are available possibly for
I don't think we have any interviews prepared. Potentially, we could interview Prosk. Let me. Yeah, it looks like he just jumped down into the pit wall. So let's head down there on our magical carpet.
quick little fly down in the genie carpet here. Prosk, we're currently in the Williams pit wall here at the moment. How do you feel after such a hectic race today?
That track is hard, man. And I didn't do much preparation, but I found a good setup for it. It's a little bit it's aggressive setup, lots of oversteer, rear's pretty loose. It was easy to lose the car. But I didn't have too big of moments and I was able to pull out a P2, which I'm quite quite happy about, honestly. I didn't expect to qualify P2, but and then holding it worked out pretty well.
Oh, great drive from you here today. Money, do you have any questions for our P2 finisher here?
How's it feel to be a polar bear in Arlington? Great job, man. P2.
Ooh,
Um,
let a
you know.
boo. Why is there a polar bear in Arlington, Texas? Where I have to send you guys pictures.
Okay. But were there any moments in the race where you thought like either one, I could win this thing, like I really have this in the bag, or two, holy cow, I don't even think I'm gonna get a podium anymore.
Yeah, there were definitely moments of like that in both directions. Um I pit under the first safety car, like the one like immediately, because I wanted to try to do a hard strategy. After I because I started on medium, so I'm like, okay, this could work really well. Um but I should have known obviously that there were gonna be more safety cars on this track. And I also should have underfueled for that same reason. But yeah, so then another safety car happens, or two more safety car happens. The third safety car restart, actually, no, sorry. The second safety car restart, people were on better tires behind me, and I just start getting overwhelmed, especially because like I haven't driven this track on old tires, and I go all the way down to P5. I get a 3 second penalty. I'm like, okay, dude, I'm screwed. Like I'm going down the order, man. But then I just calmed it down a little bit, stabilized, was able to hold it until the next safety car, then a pit for hards. Um, I think I gained a place in the pits because there was a double stack, and then I just kept it consistent. And then I was starting to get really feel comfortable towards the end and catch up to people. Um, and I saw that William had a 6 second penalty. If Reimer had a penalty, I would have probably tried to be a little bit more aggressive, but there was no point towards the end because I knew I was guaranteed second if I didn't get another penalty. But I felt like I had the pace towards the end to really compete for the win. I just kind of played it safe.
A very fair thing to do, especially in Canada. But nonetheless, I mean, a great race. Do you think if you didn't pit right away on lap two and maybe pitted on one of the later safety cars, there might have been a chance for a P1 there? Or?
I think I had a chance for a P1 if I didn't get a penalty. So I just needed to keep it clean because knowing this track, there's going to be safety cars. When the safety car happens, the 3 second penalties are even worse because this field gets bunched together again. So I really just needed to be more careful about that. I think that's the main culprit. The strategy, I think it was marginal. Whether I pitted the first one or the second one, I think like I would have had the track position, but then I would have pitted, and then I wouldn't have had the track position, but then I would have had fresher tires. So it was just like I think it ended up about being the same.
Very fair. But Prosk, I'd like to once again congratulate you here on your win. We
Let's
knew,
go.
or
Let's
win,
go.
excuse me.
P2,
Yeah,
baby.
P2, let's
I'm
do it.
so back.
You've had some fantastic races the last few sessions here, so I'm excited to see what you're going to be doing in Monza. I know you've gotten a lot of Monza practice in other motorsports, so I'm excited to see your T1, T2 action, especially.
Oh, gosh.
Uh,
That's going to be interesting.
but with that said, I think we're going to hop on our magical carpet and move over to the Ferrari pit wall. Prosk, once again, congrats on the P2, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Appreciate y'all. And thanks for the commentary. Thank you.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, man, great race.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with our race winner here in Canada and a Canadian as well, Reimer. Absolutely huge win here on home turf. How do you feel,
Oh, stressed. That was a challenging race, guys. My goodness.
I have zero doubt in my mind. The track limits are so difficult. On top of the fact that you were dealing with quite a bit of fighting, especially with the Aston Martin of IUF and William there. A lot of wheel-to-wheel racing in that regard. I mean, how did you? What was your strategy coming into this race? It seems like you were pretty cool and collected, to be quite frank. You didn't take advantage of the first two safety cars for any pitting, so I feel like you had something in mind.
Honestly, this is my worst track, Canada. So I was just like, let's get through qualifying, see how we do, and I had the idea of starting on the hards, just because I knew I was going to be slower than everybody. So yeah, that was pretty well the strategy. Run the hards, and then lap one, everything went downhill. I must have clicked my knob or moved something, but I really screwed up my brake bias, and I was just locking up, and I threw myself into another car by locking up. It was completely accidental. I just hit the brakes and it threw me right into the car. And yeah, I did the whole race with a broken wing.
Broken. Oh my gosh, that's right. You were missing, I think, your left end plate there. I forgot exactly I forgot exactly who you rear-ended. It was in turn 10 though. A lot of rear-ending across the board though. It wasn't just you there. A lot of rubber, or a lot of paint being traded here today in Canada. But Money, do you have any questions here for our Canadian winner?
No, no questions. It's definitely what I expected from you. Fantastic drive, sir. I hope you enjoy the week off, and I mean, just keep doing what you're doing. Fucking beast.
Yes, right.
Thanks, guys. I hope it was an entertaining race for you guys. Looking forward to watching it back.
Yes, sir. No, I think you're going to have a good time. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is our P1 finisher in the Canadian GP, a Canadian himself, Reimer, winning on home territory. Fantastic win here early in our season. Excited to see you at the Temple of Speed in 2 weeks here, Reimer. Have yourself a fantastic day. All right.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Magical carpet,
Thank you.
take us away. Back up here in the commentators booth. Money, fantastic race here. Do you have any last comments here for our spectators?
Yeah, guys. I hope everybody shows up and tries to attend the race here in a couple weeks in Monza. Like Hero has mentioned, we are trying to grow the league. Obviously, want everybody to enjoy the F1, but we do have some other things in the works as well. ACC and LMU is going to be probably done pretty soon. So definitely check us out. And if you don't have any more things for the stream, we'll catch you later, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you all very much for joining. I've been Wild Hero along with your commentator Money, and have yourselves a fantastic day.